All right. Jason here, TCP SuperSystem creator, instructor. All I can say is wow, what a day. Coming off the heels of Trump's UK announcement, Missouri passing or about to sign law by the governor after I think like a 104 to 40 something vote to eliminate capital gains on real estate, stocks, and Bitcoin. You got fiat leak volumes in the bottom right here showing volume just coming out from everywhere in the US. Looks like HBAR, looks Doge, Avalanche, Cardano. I mean, things are flowing. On the screen, you will see our social channels. Again, please like, share, subscribe. I bring you the TCP SuperSystem alerts for free almost every night to help you identify those areas of opportunity that we use to create alpha returns for ourselves. Of course, caveat, none of it's financial advice. It's informational, educational only. Not recommendations to buy or sell, but just helps you identify those areas where you may want to consider something, but you have to make your own decisions, okay? So on the screen, you will see, one last thing. We've got training videos that we put out on the YouTube channel that will talk through each of the three components of our system that you see on the screen. Mean reversion at the top, the main indicator, the hot sensors at the bottom. So check that out. In those videos, there's a number that we call out, one number per video. If you give us those three numbers in any of our socials, then we will put through whatever crypto or equity asset that you want, and we can do that one-on-one, however you want, but we can interpret those charts for you. So we're going to do a couple things tonight. We're going to look at some of these charts very quickly, show you the alerts that we got in today because there's a whole lot. We won't go through all of them because it would take too long. And then show you some news that are driving some of this action. I will say I think we're in the midst of a transformational time, and that's the transformation of the financial system. Once in a generation opportunity. It's a shame that the majority of the population will miss out, but truly great time to be alive to see a transformation like this because most people never get to see this. So on the screen, you've got Bitcoin. Again, you can see we're at 103, just over 103K. That's, I think a couple weeks ago, you can see on our chart, we actually had that confirmed uptrend that we shared out, and we made a video right around that time when it was, I think Bitcoin was 87,000 at the moment that we made the video. And we said, don't be shocked if you see a 95 to 100K Bitcoin. Of course, we're now at 103. And you can see that green formation cloud. That cloud formed, we're on an uptrend. It broke through those moving averages, continuing its trajectory. Again, the hot sensors at the bottom look fantastic. We're gray in all three, so not in any kind of exhaustive state there. So that's awesome. And let me turn that music down just a little bit. So we're not in any kind of exhausted state here, so that's awesome. So this thing probably still has a little bit more to go. I will say, if you look at the fear and greed index here, we did hit a 70 today, and that is in the greed zone. So it's not extreme greed, but so we're probably getting. We can still go a lot further, but just pay attention to that because that is important. The most opportunistic times to sell are typically when it's in extreme greed. So pay attention to that. And then Bitcoin also has a 63.5% dominance. And I want to call that out specifically because a lot of people probably don't even pay attention to that. And when you've got 15.1 million cryptos out there, most of which are garbage with no real use case, a 63.5% dominance, it's pretty impressive. And when we do finally see meme coin capitulation and half of these things go to zero, that dominance is only going to continue. So keep that in mind. Then I want to show you a couple more things before we do other charts. I do want to show you our LinkedIn feed because we shared a couple things today. I don't know which one it is. I think it's, yes, this one. So let's show you this one. So we're going to look at the Solana chart, but I wanted to just show you this before we do. Their DEX volume has topped 800 billion in 2025. And I would imagine that probably puts them number one. We do think Solana is a black hole for a lot of these projects. They're going to take a lot of transaction volume from other chains. They got Fire Dancer making this thing extremely fast. I also saw something from Cardano, Charles Hoskinson, talking about Cardano's improvements and how it's going to be the fastest chain. So we'll see. Granted, we hold positions in Solana and Cardano. Some of our, definitely in our top 10 for sure, for both of those. Cointelegraph here, outside of the one we saw earlier today from Missouri, you've got Arizona, who has officially signed into law allowing it, or this, I guess that HB 2749, which is basically allows it to keep unclaimed digital assets in native form and establish a Bitcoin reserve fund. So every state's going to be doing this, so it's just a matter of time. No one wants to be left behind. Then you got one from Cointelegraph talking about the OCC. Clarifies national banks can buy and sell crypto assets at customers' direction and outsource custody and execution services to third parties with proper risk management. There it is, folks. Excuse me. Mass adoption on the way. And then we have SEC and Ripple Labs filed a motion for court approval of that. Basically, they've essentially settled for $50 million to resolve all the legal disputes. And that's about it. And then here is Michael Saylor, of course, and he believes Bitcoin will grow to a $500 trillion market value over the coming decades. Now, granted, that's a long time, but I think Bitcoin now is what, 2 trillion? Let's see. Let's go actually look at that. I just want to know. Bitcoin is, just over 2 trillion. So 2.04 trillion right now. So that, my friends, is a 250x from here for just Bitcoin. That's remarkable. And if Bitcoin does a 250x, think about some of the altcoins that really do have a use case, like XRP, HBAR, XLM, XDC, tokenization plays, Ondo, some of these other ones, they could see extraordinary growth and opportunity. And I mean, honestly, I believe it could create generational wealth, probably like you couldn't imagine. But again, most people will miss out, but that's okay. And our charts can help you find those opportunities if you just watch, like, share, and subscribe. It's that simple. So we'll see what he has to say real quick because it's only pretty short. Take a look.
The network. It's going to go from 2 billion to 20 billion to 200 billion to 2 trillion to 20 trillion to 200 trillion. And when it gets to 200 trillion, it'll chop along at plus 20% to eventually 300, 400, 500 trillion dollars. And where is that capital going to come from? It's going to come from Russian real estate. It's going to come from Chinese private equity. It's going to come from everything in Africa, everything in South America. You have capital flowing from foreign financial and physical assets to Bitcoin. You have capital flowing from 20th century assets to Bitcoin. So the capital is going to flow from the 20th century to the 21st century. It's going to flow from physical to digital. It's going to flow from currency-based derivatives to a digital commodity derivative. So it's already happening. It's unstoppable. It's literally like, for me to say Bitcoin's going to demonetize gold understates it. Yeah, it's going to demonetize gold. Then it's going to demonetize the real estate that's 10x more than gold. Then it's going to demonetize every long-term store of value. So what you have is a situation like the Europeans show up and they give like some Dutch guilders or some pieces of paper or some glass beads or seashells or stone coins to people using a more primitive form of money. And we have the opportunity to, in essence, just grab 10, 20, 25% of the network, let the entire dynamic flow, and it's going to accelerate. And when the dust settles, the American people will own 25, 30% of that capital, which right now is sitting in 20th century.
There it is, folks. The plan is laid out. You just have to be willing to do research, try to understand the technology. Most people are so afraid of this because they don't even understand it and haven't taken the time to even study it. So it's pretty remarkable, pretty sad in a lot of ways too. But we'll keep going. I want to get to the charts in just a second. Here's Eric Trump from the Bitcoin conference, basically quoting him saying, "I love Bitcoin, own a lot of it, and you're going to see exponential growth." And obviously, given his position, he knows what's coming per the Bitcoin conference post there. And that was from the Bitcoin 2025 in Las Vegas, which is actually coming up this month. So another, what is it, 3 weeks? Yeah, roughly 3 weeks. So I guess he's going to be speaking there probably. Let's see. Here's Vivek Ramaswamy's Strive Asset Management plans to raise $1 billion to buy Bitcoin, aiming to create the first publicly traded asset management Bitcoin treasury company. So it's important when you see headlines like this because one, giving who he is, the amount of money they're looking to invest in Bitcoin. I'll also be willing to probably speculate that it will spread beyond Bitcoin as well, because when you have all these family offices, these big time high level asset management firms, states and governments, and endowments, pensions, whatever, they're all investing in or pursuing investments in Bitcoin, and that's going to create an extraordinary supply crunch. There's not that many to go around, folks, and that's just we're talking about globally, right? So we're not people always tend to look at the stock market, but the stock market isn't just US. I mean, there's global equities, there's global companies, there's global retail demand. This thing is very scarce, and it's going to be truly remarkable for the next decade. Then we will see. I don't want to play that because that's 14 minutes, but that's another Strive post talking about their plan to do the Bitcoin treasury. So let's stop there. Go back to the charts. Like I said, we already did Bitcoin, so Bitcoin's looking pretty good here. We'll see if we hold here. I would imagine we might see a little retracement after that big candle today. Looks like we popped from about 97 all the way up to somewhere right around 104, and now we're down to about 102.8. So it's going to come back a little bit, which is fine. What we're going to look for here, though, is this mean reversion. All three lines are up above in those extremes, which is fantastic. We want that red line to really stay up above here. We don't want it to get back down below this red zone. So as long as these lines are trending up here, you can see an extended run. We are in the green cloud, which is your uptrend. And we don't see any red down here on the hot sensor. So those are some of the things that we'll be looking for to try to scale out a little bit and see if we can build our bags when we see a small retracement. So that's how we leverage this system. And I'm going to tell you, it's truly remarkable. All you have to do is watch and listen. So we're going to look at, I want to show you one more thing here. We're going to look at a couple other ones, but I'm not going to go through all these, but these are all the alerts we got today on the right-hand side over here. And these are live alerts at the time. So again, you can see most of these are potential trend reversals to the upside. And that we've actually taken that signal off of here. Just to show you, I'll put it back on for the moment. And this is the system behind the scenes here, but we'll go ahead and put those back just so you can see the alerts. Again, the potentials are the triangles, where the confirmed are the labels you see. And again, most of these today were potential trend reversals to the upside. We did have a couple up here that were confirmed reversals. So maybe we can take a look at those real fast because it looks like two are related to base, one to BNB. And I've seen a lot of good things about BNB lately. So let's look at BNB. Yeah, and you can see, man, look at this. So BNB is looking pretty strong here at 624.80. Again, all three lines are at least above the red zone. Red's up here in the extremes, so we need that red to stay up here and drag these orange and blue lines up into those extremes. So and there's your confirmation today. And again, we always say on the yellow signals alone, give it 1 to 3 days. Never trade off of these by themselves. So just because there's a confirmation, that really doesn't mean anything to us. We're looking more at the hot sensors, which these are good. We got 2 above the midline. This one, the long-term one's still a little bit below, but it's white. That's white. That's white. So nothing's really over exhausted. So that's a good sign. And we just need to watch this activity up here to see where it goes. But that could be a good long-term one as well. And let's look at base since we got it. Yeah, that's just consolidating sideways. That's not worth it. So, and then like I said, I'm not going to go through all these, but what I will do, I just wanted to show you those alerts. And probably what we're going to start doing as well, during the day, maybe, we may just run the channel live. I may not be on the screen, but we're going to leave the chart probably for XRP on the screen. But we're going to leave this view here open so you can see throughout the day what alerts are actually firing and what time, and you'll be able to see it on the chart. Now you won't, if I'm not here to switch through the alerts, you won't see the chart until I come in and look at it. But you'll at least have live real-time access to the alerts when they fire, so that could be pretty neat. So want to go through a couple of these. These are some of our favorite ones, and I will say all the ones that I'm going to look at now, we do have positions in for transparency, just to be fair here. So Ondo is one of our favorite tokenization plays. Again, you can see a little choppiness here. We had the potential downturn, confirmed downturn. Now it's potential upturn. So getting some choppiness. But again, for the hot sensors, you're looking, and this is to the upside and the downside, you're looking at white, gray, blue, yellow, orange, red. Red being the most opportunistic times to either scale out on the upside or scale in or make bigger moves based on whatever you want to do on the downside. Because here's a prime example here, and I like to show this sometimes. Sorry. This was the dark green diamond, and for those that are new, that is our favorite signal in this entire system when combined with the hot sensors and the mean reversion. So this was back on March 10th, so roughly 2 months ago. In the bottom of that candle, which would have been right about 76 cents, the only dark green diamond we had since the dark reds at the top. Okay. In just 2 months, we're now trading at 98 cents. And I don't care what market you're in, that's a hell of a return for 2 months, and it sure beats the 7% that a lot of people are happy to get in the stock market. And this is how we leverage our system. So you can see, again, how effective this thing really is. I mean, it's truly remarkable. And it took me 2 to 3 years to build this thing. We fine-tuned it, and I just like to share it for free. So that's what I'm doing. So XRP, you got to always cover XRP every single time. Again, go back and look at our video. I think it's 2 days ago. No, hang on one second. Sorry, I got a little bug. But go look at our video from 2 days ago. You'll see right here. We were literally saying we could see this thing either dive to 150, which is that support right there, or it's going to bounce off that 200-day moving average. Well, as of right now, it looks like it bounced off the 200-day moving average. Now, we're still in a normalized trading zone because looking at the hot sensors, we're not in any kind of crazy, exhausted or oversold state. The one thing I would point you to here when that's the case is I would look at the mean reversion, and you can see the red's in the extremes, positive. Orange is up above the red zone, that's positive, and blue's coming up behind it. So as long as that red line stays up above the red zone, we're looking pretty good there for XRP. We will continue to monitor that. I will say we are large holders of XRP. We do not sell XRP. We only accumulate in those areas where we see opportunities. So just to be fair, I want to put that out there. Cardano, again, extremely large holder of Cardano. Again, we've seen some choppiness with Cardano, and I know Charles Hoskinson has come out lately. There's been some posts coming out about him and some of their upgrades and all that, which should make it, I guess they've been kind of a slower developing project, but to some of the comments I've seen him to say lately, that's, being the tortoise, he's made Cardano into I guess a really good long-term project here. We'll see if it materializes. I know he's worked with Congress or been connected to Congress and all that. So we'll see. We like Cardano, but it's kind of been hammered of late. I mean, I think the high there was right around $1.30 something, and now it's come back. But so we'll see where Cardano goes. So Chainlink is another one that we love to follow. Oh, look at that pop. So today, what is that? Roughly 13.84. It's almost $16. That's a hell of a move for a day. But again, I mean, the only way you would have hit that would have been because you got in back here on the confirmed uptrend. But at the time, the only real positive we saw was the crossover right there about that same time. So that's we're looking at color scheme and we're looking at crossovers, right? So that's one way you could do that. And at the time of that crossover too, our red line's in the extremes, and we had positive upward trends for the orange and blue. So that's your positive sign. So that's Chainlink. Can't have a crypto ecosystem without Chainlink, FYI. And yes, we hold Chainlink. HBAR. Yeah, that's not even worth talking about. Let's see. And again, anytime you want to see a particular crypto or equity, watch the 3 training videos out on the YouTube channel. Give us the 3 numbers, and we will put any crypto or equity you want through this thing and make a video about it at no charge. Let's see if we can go. Just find another good one. Near. Let's look at Near. Where's Near? Here it is. Oh my God, so beautiful. Look at this. Yeah, we got to keep showing you this one. So this is a great example of what this thing can do for us. So you can see the downturn really started back here when this confirmed downtrend in the red formation. I guess the cloud turned red, right? So that was back on December 15th. And you can see where we've gone from there. We had really 3 major areas of opportunity. 1, 2, 3. And if you would have done that, your average would have been, well, it would have been below where it is now, I can tell you that. And you may be losing me here on the video, but you should still be able to hear me. Apologies for that. We've lost that video connection, but I'll be closing this out here very shortly. But yeah, so Near protocol, you can see again, we had a nice pump today. It's hitting that resistance right there at that 100-day moving average. Now we are getting a confirmed downtrend. So this will be interesting to watch because I don't necessarily see a confirmed downtrend, but we could get some retracement here. So we need to be real careful here. Mean reversion does look good. The hot sensors, again, when we hit this pump today, we weren't any kind of, well, I guess we were orange. We weren't red. But again, here's your red zone back when that diamond formed. So again, this is so beautiful. You could have avoided that one because you had the dark green diamond, right? Your red line was not anywhere near the extremes. We weren't orange or we weren't red on the downside until you got to this diamond. So that could have been one entry point, right? Because you had red and red on 2 of them. So, and that would have been at roughly 226. So you're 20% already above that one, and that was from March 10th. So in 2 months, 20%. It's 100. That's 120% annualized. Pretty damn good if you ask me. You could have got in here on April 8th. Red. Roughly $1.88. So yes, you're looking at a very nice size return there in a very short period of time. So that is a prime example of how we can really leverage the dark green diamonds and the hot sensors and the mean reversion to make massive moves. And that is what we do on a daily basis, and we share it with you for free. So please like, share, and subscribe so we can keep it free. And with that, since I lost the video, I'll go ahead and close it out tonight. One hell of a day. Bitcoin up a lot, up over 102. We'll see where we go. More and more states are adopting Bitcoin as their treasury strategy. Government's going to be looking to stockpile this stuff. Companies are stockpiling. Governments, you name it, it's all coming. There's going to be a huge supply shock. Don't miss out on the most opportunistic time in your life. Transformation of the financial system is underway. And for the first time in a very, very, very long time, retail has the opportunity to get in at the same time or before the majority of corporations. And yes, Bitcoin is expensive. It may not be for everybody. But I've been trying to get people into Bitcoin for 12 years. And people told me at 200 it was garbage. At 1,000 it was garbage. At 15,000 it was garbage. Now we're at 100,000 and now governments and corporations want to buy it. So this thing, per the professionals, not me, is going to multi-millions of dollars per Bitcoin. So it may not look it may not look like you have a lot on paper when you're buying a fraction of a Bitcoin, because this isn't like the stock market. You don't have to buy an entire share. You can buy fractions. There's not that much to go around. And even a small amount of Bitcoin maybe could change your life. So just think about that one. Again, none of it's financial advice. Do your research, make your decision, have some conviction, and I think you'll be just fine. But until next time, we appreciate you. Please like, share, subscribe, and we will see you tomorrow.